What's up, guys? We're back with another episode of Gear Locker. It's Friday here as we film this, and it is we are slicked in with ice. Just the compound. Everything else is wide open. We only have global warming right here. I'm pretty sure I heard penguins earlier. Let's talk about my little black backpack. We have a new backpack. I've made them. I don't know. I've been messing with them for about 6 months. Some guys have seen them on some of the videos. I've talked about them. I think they're in a couple of the off the compound videos. And I just wanted something in between the Daypack and the mini pack. And that's what I built. And then it's evolved a couple of things. It didn't really evolve. The pattern set is still the same. I made the shoulder pads a little better, more to my liking. And then added some more features to it. I always start out with a bag and I'm like, and the first question is, what does that sell for? Whenever we have a conversation, me and Jeff, Amanda, anybody in production standing around, they're like, what's the retail price point of this thing? And I always start with like, I think we could build them for $100. But then we add this thing and we add that thing, and before you know it, we've got another $500 backpack. And that's not what this is. This is a very compact day pack. The footprint, meaning the part that touches your back when it's on your back, is about the same footprint as the Daypack, a little less, but it doesn't stick as far out as the Daypack from your back. And that's this bag right here. It does have foam shoulder pads. It's was slick on the side. It's pretty slick on the face. You've got this pocket from here to here, and then you've got a pocket from here to here. And that's it. And there's foam in the back also. It's somewhat rigid because of the stitching that I put through there. And then I evolved it, and still the same shape. Very the patterns are almost identical. I put pals on the sides here, just with the thought that we could put Nalgene pouches there on the side, or jet boils or something, and that way we could add hydration to this without taking away from the inside of the bag. You could also put sustainment pouches here, so you could put a windbreaker or, whatever you want to put on there. Back on this one's the same. I am using some different hardware here and a 3/4 inch sternum strap. That's the first time I did that. I think we're going to transition all of our backpacks and use this hardware, which is just this ladder lock. It slides up and down, and then we can sew in the 3/4 hardware. You've got a 3/4 inch buckle right here. At the end of the webbing, I just ran Velcro dominators, and what this allows you to do, you can still adjust this where you want it, and then you can just fold up this excess webbing just like that, and then just lock this around there. Now, we gave you a lot of Velcro here. You can trim it and shape it however you want it to be. So if you're not using all that webbing rolled up there, if you're just a bigger dude or you want it looser, and you're finding that you have too much Velcro, you can just simply snip it off with scissors right there. That's the bag. Nothing on the bottom. There's no waist strap to this bag either. It does not hold a ton of stuff. The volume is smaller on this bag. And I didn't see strapping things onto the bottom of this like a bedroll or something like that. So there's nothing on the bottom to accommodate that. And then I talked about it on video. I don't know. Monday night, Tuesday night, maybe. I just showed it for a few minutes on video. And every time I have showed this bag, people are like, we're ready to buy them. We're ready to buy them. So I said, hey, just put these online. List an option of multicam black or woodland. And, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? So we put it up with a custom option also. And I think we sold 100 or so bags that first night. And I was thinking, okay, well, we'll take a dozen orders for these. One of the guys in there, I think it was Caswell, ordered a couple custom colors. So his was the first one ordered in a custom color option, and he requested Typhon and Royal Blue. So I needed to test the pattern set one more time before I made hard patterns last night. So I built that tiger stripe one yesterday, and I built his in Typhon Royal Blue. I think it was Caswell. And it's nice. I built it, which means it's got high pattern content. Typhon is a terrible material. The pattern's very neat, but if you look at it on the table, it's 5 feet, 6 feet, 5 feet wide. You've got a great pattern content here, You've got some great pattern content here, and then you just have this smear of dark colors here with no pattern. So I cut it to where it's got very high pattern content through here, as well as the back where it's exposed, where you're going to visibly see it with your eye, which means I threw away all the rest of the material because there's no fucking pattern content. But that's that. On the inside of the bag, I've done a few of these. I've got this stuff with air cells. Let's be loud here for a second. I'm going to turn it inside out so you can see it. It's pretty rigid. There's a good piece of foam in there. And then I sewed these chevrons in there to hold its shape. And in doing that, it also makes it tighter and more rigid. The more stitching and the more cross lines you put in something, the stiffer it gets. So the back of the bag is all Velcro lined. This is 9 inches of Velcro by the height. I don't know how tall this is. And what that'll allow you to do is you can run our large mesh pockets or our small mesh pockets or a combination of them. I built some of these with a pocket over this, thinking it would hold windbreakers or just whatever you want to put in there in the bottom. And what I found in doing that is it really limited this Velcro on the bottom. So if you put something in there, even if you don't put anything in that pocket, but you put a mesh pocket in there, it's very difficult to access that mesh pocket that you're using down there for organization. So we also put it on as an option where you could have that pocket or not have that pocket. And I'm really leaning again towards not putting the pockets in them. But guys did. I was surprised how many people wanted that pocket in there. Now, I also thought somebody on the live feed had an idea of, which I hadn't thought of, but it made perfect sense. Put the pocket on the front of the bag so that it will contain things. Because what are we going to contain in there? I'm thinking just like a windbreaker, a lightweight hoodie, something like that. And that way you still have all this organization where you can use your internal mesh pockets in there, because that's really what sets this bag apart. You could throw everything in here, but if I want to access this, do I have to pull 10 things out to get the one I'm looking for? Whereas if they're in those pockets, then that's there, and then anything you come across or in the day that you add into the pack or any larger items, they're just kind of in there, just like an old school backpack was. That's really it. You can see here, those pockets on the face on the outside they're here, and then from this stitch line down. So that's what that is. So you could put like your wallet, your car keys, your small things up top, put some other items right down there. And that'll also stage it away from your back. So if you put like power bars or anything in there, they're not close up against your body heat unless you wanted them there. But that's that bag. Now, to show you in comparison this bag next to a mini pack, I think you can probably see that in the camera there pretty well.
Yeah.
The mini pack is a lot smaller, but this is more sleek, whereas the mini pack's more of like, it's a fucking brick, right? It's like a fucking tortoise. Whereas this one is here. Now, to show you in comparison to the Daypack, where you go, there's a huge difference there, guys, right? An enormous difference. Footprint, where it sits on your back, is pretty close. But where you really see the difference in these two bags is right there. And I'll show you one loaded up here.
That really is a medium bag, because I thought it was close to the mini pack, but it's not. Like, it's right in between the mini pack and the day pack.
Yeah, and really, when you look at backpack lines, where we say this is a medium bag, it's still a small, they're all 3 small bags.
Yeah.
They're just small bags. So when I made this Daypack right here, I made this on the heels of, there was a dude on Facebook talking shit one night. And he's like, you just make JanSport backpack trash bullshit. And that spread like wildfire. It didn't go how he thought. Come to find out, this dude had actually hit us up. He was doing a SEMA truck build for the SEMA show. And he fancied himself a SWAT cop and a canine officer. And maybe he was. But he asked us for like $8,000 worth of shit. And I said, hey, we'll do this up, but it's going to be, $6,200. She's like, yeah, no problem. We built a bunch of shit and he never paid for it, and we never shipped it to him. So while he's out there talking about JanSport backpack quality trash bullshit, he had asked us for a bunch of stuff. And when we started looking through his shit, he was selling $50,000 dogs and all kinds of stuff. Like it was whatever. But it spread a lot of popularity. It really boosted the algorithm on Facebook. And I happened to be at a Barnes and Noble the next day. I'd walked in Franklin or somewhere in Nashville. And there was a Barnes and Noble and there was a Starbucks in there. Walked in, grabbed some coffee, and they had JanSport backpacks on clearance. And they had several of them. I bought 2 and they were on clearance. I think I got them for like $13. And they were some kind of camouflage pattern, kitty camo. But I bought them, brought them back, and I started making a video. Like I shot a legit video with the big X820 camera and everything and multiple angles and stuff. And I'm like, just started talking to the camera, and then I did a couple lives. And I'm like, I just thought it'd be cool, like this dude, while all the elevated traffic and everything, and everybody knew what we were talking about when we're like JanSport backpacks. So I cut one apart and used it as patterns, cut it apart, made actual patterns off of the JanSport footprint, which is this here. But I wanted it more robust. So I added another 1/2 inch of material around all my patterns because I want to sew where my stitch lines are. I want at least the raw edge, a 1/2 inch of seam allowance in there. And then we edge tape over that because if we're going to sew super close to the edge, you have more chance of fraying, right? It just eats the material apart, especially if you're using pack cloth or a lighter weight material. So I want that meat, that stitch line further in. We're going to run 3 lines of stitching minimum in everything that we sew together. And then we're going to conceal it with edge tape also. So even if you busted past that edge tape's also on there in another stitch line. But then I'm like, because this is the actual size. Like I was not aware, because I had bought JanSport backpacks for my kids, and I remember wearing one as a child, and they were just always like, you put books in them, but they were always like, they would slouch because they had no firmness. There was no hand to the material. But that's a pretty good sized backpack for a kid. Man, you're going to put all your books and shit. I mean, my kids would come home when they didn't leave their books in lockers because kids would break into even when I remember being like 8th, 9th grade, and kids would come to the high school and break into lockers and shit because our lockers were in these cages outside under these pavilions, and people would steal your shit. You had to buy those fucking books if your books got stolen. But my kids would come home with like 45, 50 pounds of fucking textbooks. So the JanSport backpack's pretty big. But this is exactly how it is built. There is a flat pocket here. There is a front pocket here that looks to be about 2.5, 3 inches. And then there's this main compartment here, which is like another probably 5. Well, I'm at least 1.5, 4.5. I'd say this is a 5-inch pocket right here. But we lined them all with Velcro so we can organize the front wall and the back wall of this bigger pocket. And then on this middle pocket here, the thinner one, not the face pocket, but the middle pocket, that's a Velcro wall in there too. So you can put 4 mesh pockets on every wall, or you can put 2 of the large, or 2 and 1 and 2, 1 large and 2 of the smalls. So you can completely and still have cargo capacity in between those. Made the shoulder straps the way they should be. Quick releases. Put a step in here. So the step in those shoulder straps is so that when you pull this all the way up, it catches on this step here rather than here. And what that does is you still have this tab here. You don't have to fish all the way and try to get a hold of this tab because it stopped on this tab. This gives you a couple of inches. So if you have gloves or something on, you can still adjust that. This has the old school sternum strap. Functions exactly the same. That new sternum strap we're putting on those other bags, it takes a lot of labor away, and it functions just as well. It'll actually be a little less stitching to do it with the new hardware because we won't have to sew all these slots because that piece is an adjuster itself. But that's the bag. We added pals to the side, a lot of Velcro and stuff. We basically built a JanSport backpack that would not fail. And man, we sell we've sold thousands of those things. But that's the bag. That's kind of what we did this weekend. This week was just get that bag ready to go. We had a very modified crew this week. We had a day where nobody actually showed up. I have guys that show up here, but there's really not anything to do when the sowers are not here. So just inclement weather. We're running a crew. I think all my guys are here. That's a given. I've got 3 dudes in here. Austin's here. My film guys made it here, like when nobody else came to work. My guys drove 4.5 hours to get here. And they're East Tennessee, which is way worse weather. Brandel came through fucking 12 inches of snow to get down here. So I just had some time. We still shipped everything that had been boxed up from the day previous. Once that was done, I just started building some backpacks, and we put them up, and now they're on there under the, you can see them. There's a search bar on the front page of the website, and then any page you're on the website, and on the phone you might not see it. Scroll all the way over to the right and the left, right and the top. On every page is a search bar. And if you just put in pack, you'll find all the packs. If you put in Covert, you will find that new Covert bag. I would assume it's on the front page of the website. It's also on we sent a text and an email out. It's in the text and the email. If you're not aware, our text app, if you have a business, you should have a text app. And if you see SMS and you're not sure what that is, that's your text app. But you should have that. And if you sign up to our text app, we're going to send you a text every single day. And what that shows you is just the prime things that we made that day. Now, we also have an email app, but we only send an email out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Amanda actually, it takes her about 5 hours to get that email ready to launch. Now, you might think, well, I don't want to text every day. I'm just going to get on the email. You can totally do that. But all the coolest shit that we release it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it never makes it to the email. It's always gone by then. So you can do either of those. But
and I think you said that those new packs, they're like open. As of right now, anybody can order any color or anything like that.
Kind of. You can. We do not have these bags, guys. Know that. If you order this motherfucker, it's not shipping Monday. We have it on there as you can order woodland, or you can order multicam black. There's a custom option on there where you can order really anything, any color you've seen us build, really. Or if you have some gear and you want to be all super matchy-match, multicam black, red's your jam or whatever, you can order that and put in notes kind of what you want. We'll kind of let you, pick and choose. It costs more.
And is that option going away soon? So, like, if they want that, they need to go soon? Or no?
I don't know that it's going to go. It's not going to go away. We might close it. Like, we have a lot of packs right now. We might close it. Yeah. And the price is going up. Like, we've raised the price. When I talked about it on a live video, and we got like 100 orders that night from it. Mm-hmm. And then the next day I said, hey, go ahead. And I talked about it on the live with me and Scully, and we raised the price. And I told him in the beginning, I go, this introductory price, this price is going up. So the next day we raised it $25. And then when we put it out in text Thursday night, we raised it $25. And then when it went out in text and email last night, it went up another $25. So those dudes that they just like what we're doing, and it was important enough for them to be on that 9 o'clock video. I do one every night. They got the lowest price. And then when Scully and I did a live out here Wednesday, those guys got the next, it was up $25, but it wasn't up $100. Yeah. And we still got a fucking stack of orders. But I mean, we'll rip through them because that's why we're only doing them in 2 colors. Yeah. And now the patterns are made. I've tested it. It's right where I want it. We're ready. It'll be production now, so we'll roll them out in numbers of 25 at a time or something. Cool. Yeah, super cool little bag. All right, guys. It's Ice Station Zebra up in this motherfucker. It's nice and warm here. We got mini splits out here. But the walk to the main building where I'm about to go eat lunch, it's treacherous. I'm gonna get on the back of one of these. What are those little birds called? How do they penguins? How do you even call them penguins? How is that a bird?
I thought you were talking about a helicopter.
No, I'm gonna get on this penguin and I'm gonna ice skate. I'm gonna put my feet on one each, and they're just gonna like shuffle me over to the door here. All right, guys, have a good day. Also, we are frozen. Nothing changed here. We had some people not come to work, but everything we do was still up at 4:30 in the morning, feeding animals. It's actually a little more work. I'm outside more when it's colder, which is bizarre. Jockeying water around and stuff. If you're interested in that, that's the homestead, not homestead videos. That's the compound videos. If you follow my short form content, my stuff on Instagram especially, I put a lot of stories up. I record a lot of little short stuff that I don't want to bounce other stuff down on the Instagram page that's more important. So I put it in stories. And if you're not aware, stories only stay 24 hours. But if you want to see, like, I wonder what's really going on at the compound while it's fucking froze up and how they're doing this, I put up, I don't know, 12 of them last night. So you can see those there. Also follow us. We're on TikTok, Pulling the Thread Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, Locals Float, MeWe, Getter, Gab. Like, I'm on all of them. But the main ones, if you really want to communicate with us, are Facebook, Instagram. If you really want to see the content, it's Instagram or it's YouTube. And the content are a little bit different between the two. So you might follow both of them if you use both those platforms. Gear Locker is what you've just watched. We just talked about backpacks, and
especially if you're watching this video, you like the gear. There's way more gear on Instagram.
Way more gear. I post stuff like all that stuff you see curated. Our guys handle that stuff. Austin does most of that stuff. If you see a comment on Instagram, it's almost always me. If you see a comment on YouTube, a lot of times it'll be Austin. If you see me, like, I typically sign my name, JW, next to it if it's me commenting. But I do comment a lot on our YouTube also. It's just, it's to the point, it's literally a full-time job. Like, it's 2 full-time jobs for Austin at this point right now. So jump on, leave us some comments. I do a live video every night at 9 o'clock. We can have a conversation about anything you want to talk about. First couple minutes of that live every night, I show the gear that's made each day. So if you're just there like, fuck this guy, I just want to see the gear, that's the first couple minutes of the video. And then the conversation is led by you guys. It can be current events. It can be homesteading. It can be business. It can be relationship. It can be anything, like anything you've got going on in your life that you want to talk about. Or if you want to know how I did something, just ask. Like, we're pretty open about stuff. And you don't really see that with the companies, especially like social media stuff. You build this perception off of the story they tell you. And then when you get there and you actually get a chance to meet those people in real life, they're not what you thought they were. So I've always tried from the beginning to, like, if you look at our first couple thousand videos, we didn't even edit them. Like, all the dead air was in there, fart jokes. I mean, and whatever, like you saw, like, we'd had 3-hour videos go up like, cause they're so unedited. So we always just try to be real. So if you jump on those, especially those live night videos at 9 o'clock, like, you'll really get an idea of who we are and what we do here. So, Self-Reliance Festival is coming up, guys, in April. We'll have 100 people coming in to present and demo and vend and stuff. You'll meet people from all over the world, but more importantly, you'll meet people that are here for the same reason you came here. We have people come all the time. I use California as an example. People that live literally 10 minutes away from each other come all the way to Tennessee, and they've both lived there for a decade, 2 decades, and they only met each other here in Tennessee, and they have the same interests, but they had to come all the way here to meet each other. So come out, spend time with us, see what we're all about, and you'll see the place for yourself, right? So often when we watch content online, you just see this little sliver and you have this idea of how things are, and it just seems so unobtainable. Whereas here, everything's a fucking wreck. Like, you can see it. We're just normal ass people. And if you were a little bit organized, you could do it. You could do everything we do a lot more organized and clean. Just come out, man. Come out, meet us at Self-Reliance Festival. You'll have a great time. You'll make relationships that you'll have for the rest of your life outside of here. Homestead Apprentice, if you think that you're a young man or even an older dude, you want to change in life, right? And we say young guys because so often dudes are like, man, I really want to do that, but my wife's not on board, or the spouse, she wants to do it, but her husband doesn't want to leave the city, kind of stuff. If you want to change in your life, or you just want to come sample this, you want to see what it's really about, Homestead Apprentice, get your application in there. You're going to come out here to the Gauntlet. It's a 3-day selection, and you're going to get a taste of what it's about. And then we're going to do a much greater in-depth thing for several weeks. And we're going to pick the winners. And what we're looking for is apprentices. It's Homestead Apprentice because we're teaching you a lot of things, but it's not just homesteading. it's business development, it's social media marketing. There's a lot of components to it. And we're looking for some people that are like-minded. We have properties come up around here, and I would rather have somebody that has our belief system move here than let some, person who is completely polar opposite to everything we believe move in and try to change the environment. And it's not just here. Like, you're like, I don't want to live in Camden, Tennessee. We have a group of people in Ohio. We've got a group of people in Oklahoma. We have a group of people in North Carolina. So we're looking for people to hire within our businesses, several of the businesses that you see us do collaboration stuff with. And we're looking for, vetted people that have our beliefs, that under hard times we can work in close proximity with, and also live together if we ever have to in the future. So that's what this is about. It's not just about the homesteading, but it could be if that's what you're into. But it's just so that we can go through some tough times and work very close together so that we can select people that we want in our communities and provide and build future communities with people with our beliefs. And that's really what it's about. I always say, people are like, well, how do we change? How do we win the culture war? That's the new buzzword right now. And really, it's not about us. It's about our children. And I know young people listening to this, like, I'm not going to have any kids. I'm doing things every day right now for people with my last name who have not even been born. I don't mean that my children are pregnant. I mean, they're not even thinking about having kids yet, right? How do we change the future? Well, we have to do that right now. And that starts with, a good example is, right, we take our old people and we put them in homes because they have no value to us. What if we could have a piece of property, and you don't have to have your whole family live on the property, right? I want you all to have properties big enough that you can have your home, and then you can build a place for your parents to come here when they get older. And then your kids, when they have kids, you will help raise your children's kids while your kids do more of the physical labor or go out into the community and work a real job or the business. Hopefully you've all designed a business that you can work, and they have their own businesses as well. But it's about having multiple generations on the same property. And what if you had 100 acres where you could divide that into 4 25-acre plots, and then you could have multiple families on those 25 acres that have the same beliefs. And that's what we're talking about here. That's what this is really all about. So that's Homestead Apprentice. Check that out. If it's not for you, if you're like, man, I know everything about homesteading and I've got this awesome YouTube channel, I've done all these things, man, reach out to us. You might be able to be on the backside with us. Like it started kind of as a joke, right? We're going to do an apprentice thing. And Evan was like, yeah, I see you doing like Donald Trump. Like, come here, you're fired, right? And there'll be some component to that, but there's a lot of it. And if you have something to add, reach out to us. We might be able to use you in the program with us, even if you're not one of the apprentices. So I'm going to go eat lunch. You guys have a great afternoon. We'll see you on the next Gear Locker.